and next time you're in the area, Taylor, drop me a line. Oh, sorry. Just messaging Miss Swift.
I did wonder why.
I just thought you needed
Just as I pressed the go
pants
live
extended.
button, your head went into your hands.
Oh no, I'm like, I don't know what it is
That's
today.
just
I'm a bit boom, but I'm all right.
Hello, hello.
This will bring the levels up. That killed it.
How is
didn't
everyone else?
Yeah. All right,
Good.
mate. Okay. How's yourself, Lucky?
Thumbs up from Tiffers.
Good. I'm right. A bit laggy. Apparently.
You're laggy again.
I'm right. Just a bit laggy. Yeah. I think it's because we've got so many people on the panel. My computer doesn't like.
Oh,
For some reason.
God.
Bye.
Blaming us again.
Yeah. It's always our fault. Never his fault. Always our fault.
I was going to say something about a bad workman blaming his tools, but then I've been saying that we're bad people. I thought, no, maybe not.
And then you two.
Oh, he's moving everyone about now. I won't know where I am.
Yeah.
And then me and Modders there.
Just a veritable Rubik's Cube today.
Yeah.
Right. Hang on.
Hang on, he's going to move something else.
There you go. Right. If we go from top left, if we go from top left to bottom right, we're in order of hair recession. So
everything has to be barbed,
Gary,
doesn't it?
John, Gary.
Every comment he makes has to have a barb to it, doesn't it?
Yeah.
No, I'd say Gary's hair. Waitrose Gary's hair is longer than yours.
Oh, it's longer. Just needs cutting. Absolutely.
Needs styling.
It's
shocking. You know that
when at the back.
Yeah, when you're slagging off people with no hair, it usually means that you're losing yours.
Yeah. It'll happen.
My dad's bald. And my granddad's bald, so yeah.
Well,
I mean, it doesn't bother me. I just like the idea of having everyone in order.
Okay.
Like height order and things like that.
Like a form of OCD.
It makes me feel at ease.
So all you have to actually do is shout tallest on the right, shortest on the left, move. And
the right side.
Naturally just do it.
Yeah.
Then all rearrange yourselves.
On the right number.
Yeah. 31, Sergeant.
Yeah, when you do the sounding off, you do it in Roman.
Yeah.
I, V, V, VI.
XIX.
Used to do that with
Ave Centurion.
XXVII, get your bleeding haircut. Yeah, I know.
That's funny.
Getting that from off the council.
We call it.
Imagine trying to do your army number in Roman numerals.
What is everybody doing today? Because it's Monday, so it's freestyle. You're going to be working on what?
Fire truck.
Fire truck.
Well, I'm actually celebrating a birthday.
Oh,
happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
The Corps of Royal Engineers.
Oh, right.
309 today.
All right, there you go.
God bless you.
Bloody hell, Marley, are you ill?
Keeping bars dry for 309.
It's a latte.
Got to have something in it.
Okay, you got to go in the back.
There is another Corps that's 309 years old as well, but nobody mentions them.
Right. Splitters, were they? Splitters.
Splitters.
So yeah, I'm this is not mine. It's from a magazine, but I'm building one of them's. The FX 70 second scale handling page Victor.
I couldn't tell that was from a magazine, John.
Sorry, what?
I couldn't tell that was from a magazine, honest.
No.
An ode.
It's easier than grabbing the box. The box, it's over there.
ode
Put it in your box.
You held up a magazine and said, "This isn't mine. This is from a magazine."
All right.
Well,
I'm doing one of them. One of them, but not the fuel one.
I'm doing something really unusual for. I'm doing a bit of armor. Not many people build this type of armor.
Oh.
I'm building a Sherman.
Scheumann.
Yeah.
A 135 Tamiya Scheumann.
A 135.
Double prizes.
135 Scheumann. Yeah. Boy. This is just this is a kit. This is a kit I'm building at the face-to-face session and in the background. So I have been working on my competition entry, but as it's a competition entry, I won't work on it live.
Yes. Excellent.
So.
Right.
What are you working on, Mr. Evans?
Sea Fury.
Oh, Sea Fury.
Oh yeah, of course he's.
Lovely.
I keep forgetting. He's going away soon.
It's coming together.
It's nice. It's lovely. The only thing that really annoys me, and it annoys me on the a few other kits actually, the Typhoon in particular, is that when you, I don't know if you're better sit. There's a couple of little gear door actuators here.
Right.
Yeah.
That you have to go on before this spine bit goes on, and they just poke out from underneath here.
Yeah.
So you really need to put something in there, otherwise they're going to break.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I put a bit of blue tack in between just to protect them for a moment, because otherwise they'll break. And you think there's got to have been, excuse me, a better way of doing it, considering they're only geared door actuators. It's not part of the gear mechanism. So it's only there to hold a gear door in place. You could have put like a little triangle piece on each side, and that would be that. But no, they've got to have these two bloody prongs sticking up thin plastic to break. Sometimes they forget model makers have got to make their models, I think.
Yeah, I mean a lot of the designers at Airfix now are model makers, aren't they? I mean, like Pramjit, he's a model maker.
Yeah, and then when you make his Meteor, the nose gear sticks out the bottom.
Oh, right.
When you're making it, when you put two halves together, you've got to put half the gear in.
Oh,
so it's
right.
at the bottom, and it's quite a small thing. And I've broken every Meteor I've made of Airfix. 1/72, 1/48. I've broken that nose wheel leg. Design it differently. Design it so it goes in later. You know?
Yeah. I think this Victor, I believe I need to put the nose strut in before the fuselage halves go together.
Yeah,
I believe.
Must be a better way of doing it. But other than that, the kit's lovely. Other than that, the kit is really, really nice. Really like it.
Cool.
I like a Sea Fury anyway.
Yeah.
I like a Sea Fury.
I shall go through the chat.
Sure.
Robert says, "Aren't we all early birds?"
Yeah.
Yeah. And that was at 9 o'clock, so yeah, 3 hours early. Gary Markham says, "Good hey, Robert. Well, Darren, Hagrid, Julian, and I were also early birds, but then we were all kicked off again. You won first place. Haha. Yeah, YouTube kicks them off about, I think it's about 9 o'clock in the morning or something. Like 3 hours before the stream starts. Clears all the chat ready for the stream." Gary also says, "Hello, everyone. Ladies and gentlemen, start your engines, then drive it like you stole it." Haha.
Yeah.
Go on, Moggy. You can do it.
Do what? What?
Do you want to read chat?
Oh, okay. Robert
read the
says,
chat?
so the earliest birds didn't catch the worm, but
Megan.
one who overslept did. Bizarre. Next. And Robert also says, and yet again, it proves that the early bird means the worm should have stayed in bed. I think he said the worm should have stayed in bed. Hagrid says, well, whatever bird got the worm, let's close the lid on that can and enjoy the stream. And Hagrid says, you're all too serious for a Monday morning. Ha ha.
Oh,
And Robert says, I'm suffering from Australian backwards building contagion. Although it was on a car, put the seat runners in the wrong side.
oh,
He's done a Marley.
yeah.
Graham's in. Morning all. Hope you're all well.
12 minutes in, and that comes up again. Mention of that goat. Well,
Robert says, wielding a grinder on a freshly welded car parts is serious making. Very serious making.
oh,
Duke's in, says, good day, all you beautiful people. Hope you're all having an awesome time.
Duke.
Hey, Duke.
Robert says, I've got an awesomely spinny room from painkillers. Does that count?
Ooh.
It'll help. Gary Markham says, good day, Graham, Duke and Hagrid. Not serious here, laughing at the comments. Robert says, does anybody know if M4H is plastic kits only or if RC models are acceptable too? Too lazy to check the website. Plastic kits only, Robert. Julian says he's currently modelling and swearing with Back to PC. We'll turn around when the intro starts. Well, it started. Matthew's in. Hi all. Morning, Matthew.
Hi, Matthew.
And Mr. Markham says, Robert, not sure, but think it's only plastic kits only. It is. RC can be difficult for impaired veterans to use. Good day, Julian. Hope you're well. Yeah. Graham's in. He says, I'll be ducking in and out as I have a rare opportunity of a day off with the kids at school. The compressor and airbrush are in the conservatory. The model officer, Mr. Skiffins, Air Commodore James Skiffins, MBE, NFI and BAR is in. Morning all.
Hey, James.
Morning, James. And Robert says, Gary, fair enough. Not impaired when I did it, but still couldn't fly very well. Supposed to improve eye-hand coordination. And Joe says, good morning, afternoon and evening to all. Hi, Joe. And Robert says, I just improved the plain ground divoting. Gary says, Robert, the 1-to-1 scale can be just as difficult to fly, lol. And Robert says, Gary, at least you have the seat of the pants. Gary says, ha-ha, scars to prove it. Duke says, Gary, you can 3D print a Taylor Swift bust from CG Trader. You can do the face too. I don't think so. Yeah. Hagrid says, is it me or is the image a bit blurry? Ooh, I don't know.
Oh, it's probably you. It looks okay to me.
Hey.
You might have the screen resolution set low on YouTube, Dieter. They change it all the time.
Sometimes it does change, yeah. And Skiffin said, I'm sorry, that's hairist. Shocking. I totally agree, James. Well, we are way behind, aren't we? Robert says, OCD much? That's about 10 minutes ago, wasn't it? And Tiff says, welcome all. Don't forget to lube and subscribe. Of course, lubing and subscribing is important. And Hagrid says, while we're splitting hairs and go at each other's beards or lack thereof, are we in a furry support group or a scale modelling panel? Well, there's some controversy there.
Yeah.
Hagrid says, oh, Mikey, I have my dentist too. It's even older boxing than yours. And the RAF rescue launch. Yes.
Very cool.
It says, I've been watching snippets of It Ain't Our Fault Mum on Facebook. Move yourselves, move yourselves. Haha, lovely boys. I don't know how he screams so well. Haha. He actually based the character on his Sergeant Major when he served. Julian says, I could tell it was from a magazine, Mikey. The wings are the right way up.
Oh, right.
You made one mistake. Well, in your case, several.
One mistake per stream.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mr. Skiffin says, been working on the YouTube channel, making everything ready for next week. Oh, it's the big kickoff next week, isn't it? Of his very tiny build that he's doing. Duke says, a Sherman and Poindexter, Gary.
Poindexter.
Graham says, working on a BOAC Mozzie and a Mark 21 Spitfire.
Oh,
Nice.
lovely.
Julian says, Robert, the early bird gets the worm, but the second mouse gets the cheese. Yeah, because the first one's had his head chopped off by the trap. Jim says, hello to all on screen. Hello, Jim. How is it in Chicago this morning?
Hello, Jim.
And David says, morning all. Jim says, greetings to all the suspects in chat. And my daughter's just walked through the front door. And Hagrid says, finishing a low detail OCAR. Is that how you pronounce that? Manned rocket suicide aeroplane before tackling my big sea harrier again. She's been traveling and digested it quite well. Is it just me, or has stuffed Gary got the zoomies again?
I don't get serious about anything.
Which particular Tamiya Sherman are you building, Mr. Morris? Well, Mr. Morris is building that one,
which is the
M4A3.
M4A3. Right.
And Benji is getting all excited because my daughter's just arrived. Yes, and it will be going on the base. Timmy! Timmy's in. Good day, panel and chat. Hope you're all well. Morning, Timmy.
Right, Tim.
Julian says, much more swearing at the moment. Zero modelling until my temper recedes to DEFCON 3. Watching this to calm down. Bloody hell. Jim says to Joe, good morning, Joe. How's the weather down there today? Wishing you a peaceful Memorial Day. Yes, happy Memorial Day to all our American friends.
Yes, absolutely.
Julian says, it's you, Hagrid. Looks okay to me. And Hagrid said, the scale models for VET's 48-hour build marathon was announced last week, 25th to the 27th of October. The theme, what if?
What if?
Ooh.
And Hagrid says, check my resolution and any higher and my screen will blow up. It is the highest. Try rubbing your eyes. Jim says, I didn't lose the subscribe. However, I did like to subscribe, hoping that is acceptable. Well, we'll let it go this time.
Yeah.
Morgan's in. Hi, Morgan.
Hey, Morgan.
And message from your mum. Get up.
He's up. He's sat playing on his Xbox in his room with his manky feet all over the clean laundry. Again.
Oh, dear. Hagrid says,
better than Gary with his mankini all over the
last time
laundry.
I checked.
Yeah, don't bring the mankini up. You never know who's watching. If Mr. Paul's watching, there'll be a comment, I'm sure. Hagrid says, Jim, you are picky today, are you now? You are picky today. Okar, or as the Americans called it after capturing a few, bakar, which I think is Japanese for stupid.
It is indeed.
Hagrid says, so guessing I'm on Monday mode now, lol. Julian says, Hagrid, is that a what if or what the build? All mine are like that. Hagrid says, rubbing my eyes and they rolled out. Anyone seen big blue eyes roll by? Oh, we caught up with chat. Da, 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 da. Till somebody says something else. So.
Yeah, or till Model goes, Gary, stop singing.
Oh yeah, I thought I thought for a split second there I thought I got away with that.
I didn't notice much.
Good. I
Didn't
don't know.
recognise it as
I
singing.
don't even know whether that's got copyright on it anyway.
Don't know.
No idea.
I don't know, but I had a copyright strike last Friday, and that's enough.
What for?
It wasn't copyright strike. It got copyright flagged for the intro music.
For the was it the Sea Fury build intro?
Yeah, use it for the Sea Fury.
I thought that was royalty-free stuff.
Yeah.
All right.
It is, but some production company tried to claim it. They even got the wrong artist that performed it.
All right.
Oh.
Somebody chancing their arm, if you
YouTube
ask me.
still said you've either got to change it or we can run it. Yeah. So YouTube said you've either got to change the song or we're going to demonetize it. Right, okay, change the song. But it did give me an excuse to make some changes to the intro anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Any of the rest of you get worried when he says stuff like that?
All the time.
Okay.
Joe says it's hot and muggy here. My volunteer day at the World War II Museum was quite busy. Big Memorial Day weekend, big crowds. It was great. Cool.
Excellent.
And Hagrid says, "Yep, Jim, that is the aeroplane. Okar means cherry blossom, ironically." And David says, even after all the dry fitting, had to do some surgery to it as the front and the fuselage would not go together. Ugh. Duke says, something else, Gary? Jim says, Hagrid couldn't resist it. It's the natural deviant in me. I thought old Blue Eyes was Frank Sinatra. He's not rolled by on account of being dead. But he did do it his way. Hagrid says, what if Germany... Hagrid says, what if Germany had a carrier active during the Battle of the Denmark Strait? The Sherman was around during the 100 Years' Wars, and the Knights Templar had an F8 Crusader squadron available. I think I know why everything's blurry, Hagrid. Have you been celebrating the birthday of the Remy?
You've been overthinking it. No, not Remy. Royal Engineers.
Careful.
Engineers, then.
Royal Engineers minus education.
I nearly got called an army man the other day. I nearly punched someone. Hagrid says the concept is you can go as crazy as you want. The crazier the better. Go creative and be really out of the box on this one. Now that's the sort of thing that's right up James Skiffin's Strasser. Aaronville says, good sunny afternoon from Norwich today. Hope you're all well. What are you all making? Well, I'm doing a Sherman. The other Gary's doing the Sea Fury because he's going away soon. Modders is working on a
Pontiac
Firebird. Mike is doing his fire engine, his Dennis fire engine. And John is working on his Victor. He's just started. About time. I might add. What's Mal working on?
Hangover, I think. Judging by
the whiskey, but oh my god. Elves. He's doing electricity.
Oh my god.
Electricery. Wow.
Nice.
Wow. So yeah. That's what we're all doing. Oh my goodness me. Look at that baby.
This is the what's the name of the no, I can't remember. The tank, the
The
doomsday thing.
The hobnob search and rescue vehicle.
Hunts the wilderness for rogue hobnobs.
Yeah. The lights all working. Yeah. It's a touch switch, which is quite cool. The machine, the 14.5 millimeter anti-aircraft machine gun, I've turned into a drone operating turret, and the drones are 6 to a tube in these rockets on the side. MLRS rockets by 6 drones.
Cool.
Very,
very cool.
Yeah, it's load of bollocks, but it's fun.
So what if?
It's a technical term, that is.
What if or bollocks?
Hagrid says, as always, the participation matters, not the finish, and of course, supporting the good cause. Here. And James says, Mr. Stuff, when are you on your holes?
Tuesday
next week.
Next week.
Tuesday next week, mate.
Jim says, Hagrid, what ifs are the best discussed over a single malt whiskey in a very relaxed atmosphere? Well, Mal's there.
Yeah. He's already ahead of you.
Oh, he was there. He's gone. Jim said, what if I had a full head of hair and Mikey shaved his beard? That would just put the whole world to be upside down then.
Yeah.
The right way up for John, but...
yeah, maybe.
It'd cause a cataclysm.
James says, I will be. I will be what? Duke says, are you working on your lawnmower, John?
Lawnmower?
What James said is, I will be at the 48-hour build, but what I will be doing, I have no idea. Well, I know what you won't be doing in 48 hours. Gary M says, we know you're not an army man. It's obvious you were Royal Navy. The squeaking noise is me wheeling away rapidly, and so should. Wow, all looks great. You are all very skilled. I will redact myself from that statement. And electrical. Hagrid says, I'm going to do my Hawk 357 Ekranoplan in the colours of ZZ Top's Eliminator, or make a strike aircraft that flew for the Templar Order.
Wow.
Aaron says, will you all eventually present them on small vignette bases? That's my plan going forward, is to put all my models onto small bases.
Yeah.
This one for me is part of the Telford build. If I can get there this year.
We'll get you there. We'll get you there. Eastbound. Oh no, I'm going to sing then.
No, my finger was hovering.
Duke says you're working on a Victor, John. He is.
Sure am.
About bloody time too. It's only been a best part of a year I've been telling him to build that.
Victor. Oh, the lawnmower reference. Yeah, fair enough.
Modders, do you start getting twitches in your eye when you hear people sing now?
No, it makes me want to bloody join in, and I know I can't.
Jim says to Aaronville, what modelling projects are you working on? Yeah, come on, chat. What are you working on, you guys?
You guys.
And Hagrid says, anyhow, we'll be off, focusing on a job interview in a few hours. See you all well tomorrow. Good luck.
Cheers, Hagrid.
Good luck.
And James says to Mr. Stuff, message inbound.
Ooh.
Uh-oh. Now that's the time to start worrying, Gary.
I think so.
Right. When you guys do the bigger decals, How do you actually get them wet? Because I've not dealt with decals this big before.
Uh-huh.
Well, I never thought I'd be having this conversation with you, but
Decals, Mikey. Decals.
I always
Nothing
thought that'd
else.
be something the kids would ask me one day. But
More a case of getting them moist.
you cut them out and put them in water.
So start with one that isn't so large first. But what
You've
you'll
actually
find
got
is
to put these ones on a certain order, in a certain order.
oh, okay, yep.
But-
Just have the thing is, the whole thing doesn't have to be wet. What I tend to do is just use a plate with a flat rim. Well, easy to sort of move stuff around, and the decal will curl up most likely. In that door. It'll decal will curl up once it hits the water, and it may or may not eventually. I think when it's all soaked through, just make sure all the paper gets wet. And it'll be fine. It'll pretty much straighten out, but just test it very gently. After it only has to be in water for really 15-20 seconds or so. Then you could leave it on the side of the plate if you want. And just periodically test it. Just rubbing, your thumb on backing paper.
I generally put the decal in face down, and that sort of helps to stop it curling up. I use this.
I never thought of doing it upside down. God.
I use this.
You being Australian as well.
Also, what I've seen, something that Phil Flory does, is he will just squirt a little bit of water onto his cutting mat and put the decal face down in the water and just leave it there until he needs it. Which is another method, but you are generally spend the rest of the day mopping water up.
Yeah.
And
if you're using a large decal, if it's if it don't want to move into position, just get a brush and get some water underneath it to float it in position.
Yeah.
Cool. I know I've got like the micro set and sol as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if you use micro set before you put it on, it already starts to react with it. A large decal, you might need to float it in position.
Okay.
So as soon as you put any of the setters in, any of the decal solutions anywhere near them, they'll start reacting. And a large decal might just need to be able to be moved first before you do any of that.
Okay.
It's a bit half crown sixpence because get it wrong and that's it, ruined. But the floating of a large decal into position has always worked for me.
Yeah.
I got from a certain online Chinese-based store this decal-in thing here, and it's just a big sponge that you fill this area with water, and so you can sit the decal on here, and it will just sort of sit there quite happily for ages until you're ready to peel it off. So it moistens it as well. And like Gary says, I always put them on the other way up first until I see the paper darkening, because that will stop them curling up, and then turn them right way up. Give them 30 seconds or so, and then they'll start to feel like they can come off here. And there's even a little compartment by the side you can put smaller decals in. Not that I ever do, but I find that really, really useful because it doesn't over saturate them like I used to have using dishes and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So there you go.
Cool. I'll have to find something big enough then, because obviously I've only ever dealt with like the smaller ones. So I've got like a little pot for that. This is the first time I've seen decals this big.
Yeah, this is 16 and a bit centimeters. This area here is quite large. Quite large.
That's what she said.
If only. If only.
Kudos. Jim says, or as my friends from the south side say, you guys.
Jim says,
You guys. Almost added a
Aaron
very,
says,
very
Jim, my first little project will be a very old Delta Dagger 1144th and hopefully on a base. I'm learning to airbrush. Dorkosaurus says, hello, everyone. Hello, Dorkosaurus.
Oh, Dorkosaurus.
Hello, Dorkosaurus.
Being early is getting to be a habit.
Yeah.
I like it. Skipping says, so I'll be working on plastic after 1,400 hours. But for now, I'm sorting and planning stuff. Cool.
Yes.
Nice. Jim says, very good, Aaron. I have 2 projects going on currently. Pics in the Discord. Go.
So hopefully I will still be working on plastic after 1,400.
Jim says, June says, my mistake, Mr. Morris. I do humbly apologise. I got confused by the rigging. I thought they were ships, but it was for biplanes in service when you were ATC.
Do you know, if he carries on the way he's going, I might have to visit South Wales and let his tyres down.
I wouldn't if I were you. It's not worth it.
Leave it, Gary.
I'm surprised he's still got his tyres on in South Wales. Nugget says, wishing Mikey, the panel, and all in chat a lovely afternoon. Thank you, Nugget.
And you
too.
sir.
Thanks, mate. You too, fella.
And he's waving to Julian. Julian says, hi, Dorkosaurus. Is it that time already?
Yes.
Jim says, 1,400. That was the Welsh Rebellion, I believe.
Rebellion. They've always been a bit rebellious, that lot.
Yes, are you surprised?
No, not really.
Jim says, that Gary, they're solid tyres. Dorksaw says, yep, Julian, it's time to wrap it up. And Julian saying hi to Nugget.
Well.
Okay. Right.
I've got to phone call.
Yeah, no problems.
Uh-huh.
Julian says, yep, 1,400 and 1,405, we had a coffee break. That wouldn't surprise me. Aaronville says, except Jim, though I don't do Discord, YouTube, Facebook is enough for me. Ashton, my project's done, we'll do a slideshow, or after my project's done, I'll do a slideshow video onto my YouTube channel. So taking photos as I go along, just to log. Nice. James says, tyres, do they have them in Wales? Funnily enough, yes. We just don't have the speed limit to wear them out. Julian says, Dork, to us, we're often telling them to wrap up. And Arville says, also doing a model railway as well, all over the years, of course. Nice. I like the good railway he does. Yeah, well, that's a bit of a silly design. Wait a minute. What? Yeah. Okay.
And I'm back.
Welcome
I'm
back.
back in the room. What did I miss? What did John do now?
Nothing.
Oh,
Surprisingly.
surprisingly, John did nothing. That's not right. Something's not right. I may have missed something.
Yeah. Jim's laughing. Jim's laughing at Skiffers. Duxor says, today I'll be grilling 2 racks of ribs, 8 pieces of fish. I'll also be making some baked beans and having the entire family here. Nice. Sounds like a good day.
Every day
ASF
with
Nugget
family is a
says,
good day.
give it a few hours and I'll be at the work. Yeah, that's true. He says, give it a few hours and I'll be at the workbench myself. Nice. Mr. Markham says, watching you all wrestle with the Sea Fury Black Hole cockpit. Well, some good news. Bruce Andrews' blue 114 cockpit was repainted in light grey. I think the main wheel wells were white. There we go. I've done the inside of my cockpit. The cockpit walls light grey. While doing the actual tub and stuff black.
Timbo, if you're still watching, Timbo, I was looking for the reference photos you mentioned you put on Discord of the Sea Fury, but I was unable to locate it. Could you flick me one of, say anything to do with the undercarriage area, like the wheel well? That would be grand.
Nugget says, still work on that bloody 747 and lovely pink Raphael. Or Raphael, whatever. And Tim says, sure thing, John.
Cheers, buddy.
Oh, she's had enough already.
Who, what, when, where, who, what?
What a genius design ethics.
Genius.
What shame is that?
Genius. Just one step short of madness.
42.
Okay. Guy Marcus says, John, I do have photos of all 3 Sea Furies in storage at the moment.
Oh.
Nice.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm just basically after, like, I've just had a look at, just Googled an image of the main wheel well. The best I can come up with, I'm just looking for a generic one. So this is the Australian one. I think this is 115. The underside of it. So it's a, it's like zinc chromate green sort of thing. I don't know whether that was original or this is a flying one at an air show. This is Avalon, in fact, I could tell by the fence.
Eastbound. Right, so
Come on.
Jim says, Dorkosaurus, I'm with you all the way up to the baked beans. I clear out the whole backyard after eating those. Nice. Joe says, madness, one step beyond.
No, don't you start singing it, Mr. Marley.
I'm not singing. I'm saxophoning.
You're doing. Yeah, air saxophone only, please.
Jones put a link up Sea Fury detail photos, and he's going to drop the link into Discord as well.
Oh, fantastic.
Excellent.
I'm going to put that bit I put on that isn't where I put it.
See, he has his uses, doesn't he?
Oh, there it is.
Well, that's why he's in.
Dorkosaurus says, sorry, go on.
So that's why he's in charge of research and development.
Yes. Today's going to celebrate Memorial Day and Brother's birthday. Aaronville says, genius like that, Gary. Einstein, I think, said maybe genius is 1% inspiration and 99% hard work. Yeah.
Or was that Edison who thought that? 1% inspiration, 99% perspiration, or something like that, I think. From memory.
Wasn't that, if it was Edison, wasn't it 1% hard work and 99% copyright infringement?
Allegedly.
Ooh,
Yes.
Ooh.
And if any members of the Edison Foundation are watching.
Oh, thanks, Timbo.
Skirting with controversial stuff now.
Here we go. I've got a picture of the wing fold of the Sea Fury down in Nowra.
Oh,
So that looks
Ooh,
like British Interior green.
it doesn't look like chromate yellow to me.
It does look original. Yeah, because there's a bit of
That's
chromate
there. Yeah.
Yeah, but the rest of it is
Definitely interior green by the looks of it.
Tell you what, I'll paint it this way.
So
because,
it's been oversprayed, hasn't it?
Well, I don't know. It looks, it's a magazine feed through the wing. Or is it? No, probably not.
No,
That's the one in the memorial.
Hinge mechanism.
Oh, as in the Canberra War Memorial? Must be. Where? Aircraft hull with a couple of meteors at 77 Squadron.
Gary says, Round Furies were silver, later chromate yellow, but have seen black instead.
Yeah, right.
Jim says, cake.
Somebody say cake?
Julie says, I dropped the Sea Fury link in reference on Discord.
Very good.
Jim says, very good, Mikey. Thank you. Gary says, cockpit green, Humbrol 78. Robert says, genius. Then one step beyond is madness. Julian said, Edison also said, I have not failed. I've simply created 10,000 ways to make a light bulb that doesn't work. And Jim says, Doug, so I was wishing your brother happy birthday and a pleasant Memorial Day to you and your family. There we go.
Tim's confirmed that photo of the wing fold of these Sea Fury was in the Korean War off HMAS Sydney in the Australian War Memorial in Canberra.
There we have it.
And it was the Greek philosopher Mediocrities that said, do enough to just get by.
like it.
Perfect sense.
Boom, boom, boom. 31. Got one step beyond my head now, but no surprise there.
I've had the first droppage of the day.
Oh no.
Get tablets for it.
Whoa. B28. Miss.
Huh.
Oh, that's a big one.
That's what she
That's
said.
what she said.
Dorkosaurus says, thanks, Jim. Jim says, be right back, Kara's here. Okay, buddy. Aaronville says, I'm not going to Telford this year. However, will you be there and what models will you display on vignettes or dioramas? Good question.
Most of us will be there.
Let's go around the table.
Okay. Which way round do you want to go around the table?
John will be missing the bar.
Yeah.
I will not
We'll
be in
start with
Telford
you
this
then.
year.
Who are we starting with?
You.
All right. Okay. Yes, I will be at Telford, as it's just round the corner. I will be displaying my Chinook, which will be for the Hobnob build. I will also be displaying forward operating base Hobnob when I get it done, or Fobnob as we call it. I'm hoping to have the Sea Fury there. The Model T will be there. What else? Maybe Big Boy might be there.
Ooh.
Maybe. I've yet to fall in love with Big Boy. That doesn't sound right.
You could take
Well,
no
no judgment
Bear
here.
Barrel Spitfire.
Okay.
You could take Bear Barrel Spitfire.
I could take Beer Barrel Spitfire, but
Get to fall in love
But
with
you
Big
binned
Boy.
it ages ago.
no, it's still up there in the display cabinet. But I don't know. It's far too early to decide.
To join it.
It's far too early to decide what I'm going to display, but the definite ones will be the Chinook and forward operating base Hobnob. And then some of the 3 veterans builds, so the Sea Fury, possibly the train. I've got a Matilda in the display cabinet that's never seen the light of day.
Ooh.
We shall see. What won't be going to Telford will be the lifeboat. Due to an unfortunate coming together with a shelf.
You should take the shelf to Telford.
Wait, Rose.
Well,
what about you?
The only thing I'm likely to be taking to Telford is this Miasachef VMC Aslant and the cargo carrier here will be, of course, carrying hobnobs.
Like it.
And it will have M4H logos and stuff on it as well. So
Nice
that's what I'll be making.
Nice. What about you, Maleficent?
Was that me?
Yeah.
Well,
yes. Yeah. For my own club stand, RPMS Kitmaker, I'll be taking, hopefully, well, yeah, definitely, this, the model that should never have been started. The P51 I've recently finished, and the Sea Fury that I've recently finished, and this, which has got to get finished, because this is for our challenge trophy. I won the last one, so I named the build for this one. So I've got to get it there. And for the Models for Heroes, or the Friends of Models for Heroes stand, will be this: the Apocalypse tank as a hobnob search and rescue vehicle, and maybe if I get it in time, Stalwart, it's going to be the dispatch vehicle to go along with it. But as I'm moving, and moving as soon as possible, you never know. So, but yeah, that is what I'm planning and hoping for.
Wow, cool,
nice. There we go.
2 of them are finished, so that's not too bad.
Next. Aaronville says, my Norwich Norfolk IPMS group will be there. Cool.
Oh, cool.
Gary says, ran an hour of paint shop, redid one Fury inside fuselage in cockpit green, Humbrol 78, which was found on Korean Sea Furies at the time. There we go.
Oh, there you go.
LWM says, good afternoon, everyone. Hello.
Hello.
Ledge work. Jim says, Aaronville, Norwich, I think that is the hometown of Mark Felton. I could be wrong. I don't know. That's the answer. Skiffin says, Taylor will be quite upset to hear you say that, Gary.
No.
Skippin says, I will be at Telford and I'll be the. Go on.
No, it's all
right. Skippin says, I'll be at Telford and I will be displaying Hobnob, Hobnob 1 and 148 Sea King. Is it in the right yellow though, James? And maybe something based around a Japanese carrier.
Oh, yeah. Get off
there. Graham says, I'll be at Telford with my club, IPMS East Newark, or something, where there will be many models of stuff from north of the border. Nice. So is there going to be models of people in their kilts and things like that? And goats and sheep.
And Haggai.
Highland coos.
Yes, and wild haggis.
Wild haggis. Aaronville. Yeah. Aaronville says, I just now found Mark Felton on Wikipedia. He's in Norwich, interesting author and YouTuber. Thanks for the info, Jim. There we go.
Yeah.
Jim says, just posted Mark Felton's latest video on Discord. Fear not, Mikey. The standard theme music is not played on this particular video. Enjoy. Oh, God, I might watch it then. Maybe. Joe says, love Mark Felton stuff. Yeah, he does seem quite popular.
He's very good.
Anvil says, been to Telford twice. Last year, met Gary stuff on Mall's Hero stand. We'll go there once I've made a model on a vignette. So that could be ages for me. Yeah, if you met Gary, me and Gary Morris were stood next to him.
I met Aaron
for
Bill
most of the day at the
Model
Hero
World.
stand.
Standing in my aura.
Yeah.
We actually went hunting for him at one point.
In your shadow, dear boy, your shadow.
Oh no, quite not. Impossible.
It's a very long shadow.
It's a very wide shadow at the moment, I'll tell you
that. Graham says, Kilt will be present and Haggai, etc. There we go. Good. It's nice to know the Jockeys can take the mick out.
Yes. Haggai.
Julian says, not heard of Mark Felton. We'll look him up. He's on the Grinder and I don't know what. Oh, I'm joking.
How do you know he's on Grinder?
Tinder. Is that it? I don't know. I don't know.
He
Grindr,
does some
Tinder,
very good.
I don't know what.
He does some very good videos, actually.
Yes. He's big, mainly World War II history and a particular party in Germany at the time. Very well researched.
Yeah.
It's one of the probably best YouTube channels for true history.
Oh. Oh dear.
Here's a question for you, John. If he came on your channel, would it take you as long to stop fanboying over him as you did over Gary?
I'm going to plead the fifth. No, that's not it. What do I want to do? I want to. I don't want to answer that for fear of incriminating myself. So what's that? The Miranda? Is that the fifth? I don't know. No idea.
Plead the fifth is when you plead the right to silence.
Yeah, I'll do that.
I believe.
By not doing that.
Miranda are the rights they read you when they nick you.
Yeah, you have the right to remain silent. Anything you say or do used against you in court. Yada 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 yada.
Yada yada yada. I don't think yada 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 appears in the Miranda rights.
No, but you know,
whereas
it's only
British one is you don't have to say anything, but may harm your defence. You don't mention something which may later be allowed in court. Anything you do say can be used as evidence.
Yeah, but it's an old archaic thing they used to do in America. Now they've got rid of what's called due process.
John, stay away from it.
Moving on.
Or you start getting us in trouble.
He's
Zoom
a
says,
rebel.
Joe, yes indeed, Joe. Yeah, I love his continuous stories surrounding the intrigue and skullduggery of those oh so tricky
those wily guys.
June says, yeah, the guys with the funny mustaches. June says, is it Gary's aura or is he radioactive? No, he's just had baked beans. Gary says, whoever at BBC goes to Telford, please go check out the AAA SIG guys. Mark Attrill, group leader, should be there. Possibly Andrew Binks from Port Aviation as well. Nice.
We will have to start making a list of people we need to go and see.
AAA SIG. What does the AAA stand for?
That's the Aircraft
Alcoholics
Artillery.
Anonymous Australia.
Well, it could be a number of things. So yes, a bit of information, please, for somebody who won't be attending, but I'd like to know regardless.
Tim says that's the 5th.
Yeah, plead the 5th.
Please the 5th.
Odd cat.
Sounded like you were going to say follow the Elbert Road then, Gary. Jim says mustaches only one had a funny mustache, and he forever ruined the style. No, Himmler had a mustache as well.
Oh, you can mention his name, can you? Oh,
He's just like a
favoritism.
little tiny rat tat. Hey, that's easy for you.
Yeah, it's my channel.
Meanwhile, at YouTube
Tim
headquarters,
says protects
someone's
against
hand.
self-incrimination. We have demonetized this live stream
Yeah.
because of John.
Well,
There you go. It's designed to protect against self-incrimination.
Leave that bag alone.
open hatch. Right.
That's what he said.
Come on, Mr. Tammy.
Julian says the funniest reading of Miranda Rights was Lethal Weapon 4. You have the right to remain silent, so shut the F up. You have the right to an attorney, so we will assign you the dumbest effing.
Yeah.
Jim says Mr. Bimler, Mr. Ron Bibbentrop, and Mr. Off Kilter. There you go.
Off kilter. Hmm.
Well, his thinking was certainly off kilter, wasn't it? Gary says, John, I have sent you an email address. I've sent to you my email address, Sydney address, and phone number. Can you please check your channel emails? It appears you are not checking for replies and comments. Thank you.
No, you're right. I have not.
That is something he brought up on your channel the other day. You haven't been replying to comments on your channel and stuff.
No, I haven't looked at
videos.
that either.
You just don't care about your audience, do you?
Just doesn't care.
Audience?
Audience, schmaudience. That's what he says. I'm sure he does quite deeply.
Yes. I'm sure he cries over you every night when Ron locks him out of the bedroom.
Oh, crimes.
She locks him out for being too emotional and goes, God, I wish you were British. You wouldn't be bloody so emotional.
I wish you were someone else, is what she's saying. Why can't you be like anyone else?
Anyone. Just anyone.
Just random.
Doesn't matter who, just be someone else. Julian says, also, in the rookie, fed up with suspect whining, you have the right to remain silent, so please use it. There we go.
Good series, that. I like the rookie.
I don't know. Julian says, Skiffin says, on the railway, when reading someone their rights was always the most interesting moments of stupidity.
Ah.
Joe says, audience, yeah, both of us. Well, there's 20 people watching at the minute. I don't know how many liked it and whatever. But hey, we've got our audience. Jim says, John, careful, mate. If you continue to disregard your channel viewers, you may earn the nickname Australian Waitrose. Oh,
Oh, that cuts to the quick.
Yes, I saw that one and I thought, whoa,
That's
Mr. Alticott is very playful today.
Do you know, the first thing I do every morning, I get up and check my community chat and see what's there and say thanks, give people thumbs up and thank them. And this is the return.
He always replies to my comments.
Yeah, it's normally shut up, Mikey.
Yeah.
But at least I reply.
Shut the F up, dude. Absolutely. It all helps the algorithm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Gary says, AAA SIG, Asian Air Arms Specialist Interest Group. Modelers building Asian Air Force aircraft. I represent the Korean branch. Ah, okay.
Very good.
I thought it was Australian Alcoholics Anonymous.
Nice. I've got a long-term plan. Got long-term plan.
Make 1/16th can with Fosters.
No, when eventually I get around to a 3D printer, I want to build the pylons to make a 1/48th Singaporean Hunter, because they carried sidewinders, had extra weapons pylons, carried a shed load of bombs and stuff as well, and they had really cool camouflage schemes. So that's very much on my radar, that system. I got given a very beautiful book on the history of the Singaporean Air Forces when I was in Telford. Gorgeous book, tons of reference material in there. So I thought, that's it. I am definitely, and I love a Hunter anyway. So a Hunter armed with sidewinders and like triple ejector racks and shit like that looks amazing.
Yeah, literally had a Singaporean Hunter at Fighter World, but we've sold it to the Scone History Aviation sort of museum over there.
Okay.
They're going to repaint it as a British one.
So is there a nice museum in Singapore? Air museum. You know?
Never been to Singapore.
I have, but I'm too busy working to look for a museum.
So I'll be there in a couple of years' time. So I'll be there a few days. So if they've got a nice air museum, I'll pop in.
There we go. Julie says, Jim, also Reich Marshal Snoring, held of the Luftwaffe, which he did in many meetings, apparently. There we go.
Snoring.
Probably because he was as high as
Jim says, yes. Jim says, sorry, Gary Evans, I made a mess of it. I did. Blimey, I'll get me coat and leave quietly.
You're okay, Jim. You're a Bears fan. Anything can be forgiven.
We'll get me coat.
Mr. Humble Dwarf.
You're a Bears fan. You've suffered enough already.
748, 49.
Jim says, one true nickname for Herr Reich Marshal, and it was Maya. Yeah, on the other.
That's right. Yeah.
That's because of the famous speech he made about if any aircraft, British aircraft bombed Berlin, you can call me Maya. And the very next night, they did.
That was unfortunate timing.
I think it was more deliberate by the Air Force.
The RAF said, hold my beer.
Yeah, hold this. We'll be back in a minute.
They listen to the broadcast, go, hang on, here we go. Challenge accepted.
Yeah.
The better looking Marley's in.
Hooray.
He's in Perth at the moment.
He says, personally, I don't have an audience to disregard.
Shocking.
But you would if you could.
If I had an audience, I would disregard them.
Yeah.
Oh, and I need to apologise publicly.
Gary says, "Has." Oh, go on.
Someone asked me the other day on the Sea Fury build about content on Chairforce Hobbies, and I was going to do it on Saturday morning, but my wife had a funny turn, so it didn't happen. But it will happen this week.
She turned right instead of left.
She turned right instead of left.
And it was hilarious.
She's never been the same since.
No, sir. Gary says, "Has have a Singapore hunter in the collection. Was to have been returned to flight but cancelled. I wasted much money gaining 74 hours flight time training to fly the aircraft. Was very angry at them." Yeah, I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
We used to have when I was at Scamp. Oh, okay.
No, go on. I want to hear this.
So when I was at Scampton from 91 to 94, we had hunters there of ground aircraft only that they used the engineers to practice marshalling and things like that. And very often you'd see hunters taxiing around Scampton and never getting airborne.
Julian says, Jim, his self-styled nickname was Steelman. Others called him Fat Man. They weren't wrong on that count either.
There's a side point regarding back to hunters. One went through the Mac Loop at low level the other day.
Oh,
nice.
Jim says, Gary Evans, thanks, Gary. You are right about the slings and arrows. Endured being a lifelong Bears fan.
Oh, it's a nightmare, man. Got to tell you, it's a nightmare. Don't know how we do it.
Gary says, at the time, did enjoy the two-seaters flew over Europe.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a two-seater that went through the loop.
The T5s, I think.
Drew says, I loved when Ron Riffintrop was visited by Molly Toff. Ron said the ARIAC words a worry. Molly asked if that was the case, why were they meeting in an air raid shelter? Duke says, John, I had a scone in Scone. It's funny how some people pronounce scone as scone and others pronounce it scone. I personally say scone and not scone. People should also say scone.
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 Yeah, I say scone.
Scone.
But the people who live in Scone pronounce it scone. But it's the same as, like, you know, there's a place in Queensland that you may or may not have heard of called, it's spelled Mackay, but pronounced Mackay. It's one of those things.
It's like a certain politician, you know, it's not Farage, it's not Farage, it's Farage, because you don't say garage, it's garage.
Yeah.
And Bath is Bath. And Shrewsbury is Shrewsbury, not Shrewsbury.
Isn't the
says, right now all done for now? Sorry?
The scone in Scotland is pronounced scoon, isn't it? So, like the stone of Scone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the elephant in the room for the people who live in Scone is, like, do they prefer, is it jam first or cream?
Yeah.
Oh, now you're on dangerous.
Steady.
You start, yeah. Many cross-border skirmishes have happened between.
Well, some people say that you put the jam first, then the cream, and the other people are wrong. It's quite simple.
Yeah.
I take the approach, it doesn't matter which goes first as long as it's there.
Well, that's like, yeah, I prefer my the Devonshire tea without olives. That's the other thing I learnt, of course, is, you know, what we call a Devonshire tea here in Australia is not called a Devonshire tea in Devon. They just call it tea.
Jim says, oh, I didn't read the last one. Right now, all done for now, and time to get ready to make some models from Skiffins. Jim says, I pronounced the word scone as Michael Palin said it in Lumberjack sketch. Okay.
Oh, how does he? I'm trying to remember how he says it in it. I'll have to watch that again.
Buttered scones for tea.
Yes.
Buttered
Actually,
scones.
I'm
for
wrong.
tea,
They don't
isn't it?
call it tea in Devon. They call it a cream tea.
Yeah.
Same as in Cornwall.
Instead of a Cornish tea.
Yeah, cream tea.
I do think your pasties are bloody good, though.
The best ones.
Morgan's just come in to say hello.
Hello. I believe the best ones you buy in Helston. Am I right, Mel?
They are good. Phelps in Hale is probably better.
All right. There you go.
Yeah, that Lumberjack song was one of the first things I learned to play on guitar. It's fun.
Is that right? Julian says, Duke, that reminds me of the dwarves in Terry Pratchett who had battle bread. One of their prized relics was the scone of stone, or the scone of stone, or the scone of stone. I don't know which. Make up your own word there.
Imagine that. Why Terry Pratt in there?
And Paul Marley says, actually, Gary, it's garage, not garage. Garage, yeah.
Garage.
Well, you know.
It's a garage.
In the Middle East, they say garage. It's where they keep their chemists.
For those that aren't butchering the English language, it's called garage.
It's a garage.
And that's why.
For those that aren't butchering the English language, it's garage.
Did you know the carport was invented by the guy who went on to design Canberra, our national capital?
Oh, well, that's two
He built
things.
the first carport. It was in Chicago.
Well, there we have it.
Yeah, we know.
Right. So, right.
Oh, Gary, you were right. Yeah, the
Jim
Phelps took over the pasty place in Helston. So yes,
Oh, right.
the best pasties are in Helston.
Ah, there you go.
Yeah, you know.
I do remember when I was doing some work with the Royal Navy, we went down from Yeovilton to Culdrose for the day, and we went into Helston because they all wanted, they had orders from Yeovilton to pick up pasties, and I did have one, and it was the nicest pasty that I've ever had.
Yeah, who had the pasty? Who had it? Then it used to be.
I can't remember, but
no, I can't remember. They're all good. I mean, if they're made in Cornwall and made properly, they're all good.
Oh, well.
Just the Phelps ones that tend to have a bit more
I've never
meat.
liked Cornish pasties.
Yeah, because you've been eating ginsters, haven't you?
Yeah, you've been eating ginsters. That's why.
And ginsters aren't Cornish pasties, not by a long stretch.
What is a ginster?
I just don't like Cornish pasties.
It's a company that makes pies and pasties and things.
Oh, okay.
When we went to several years ago, we went to Tintagel, and there was a pasty shop in Tintagel.
Yes.
And you actually see them making the pasties, and that was
I think it's
That's
white
a
building up the top there.
Yes,
Yeah.
it was right on the corner.
Yeah. Bloody parties.
Yeah, his hands pasties on the Lizard Peninsula.
Yeah.
So almost like a back street shop.
Yeah.
And when they'll close up at whatever time they close up in the day. But if there's any pasties left over, they leave the door open, clear everything out, and just the pasties. And they expect you just to leave the money in a tin.
Wow.
Yeah, that's down here for you. It's like the car park on the Lizard Peninsula. It's pay for your parking. No machines, no nothing. They expect 50 pence or £1 for parking.
Right.
Unheard of.
Yeah, you'd never get anything like that.
I just don't like Cornish pastries because I don't like pastry.
Well, you poor thing.
Yeah. Again, you've been
Fuck
wrong
off.
before.
A man's a buffoon.
I have so much sympathy for you, other than the fact that just means there's more for me.
The man's a buffoon, I tell you.
Yeah. That's all right. You don't like them? I'll have it.
All right, I'm struggling with this. Why am I struggling with this?
Jim says, didn't realise it. Currently number 3 in the crown composition. There we go. Timmy says, I saw garage as garage. Or garage. June says, the jam cream order on scones is a Devon Cornwall divide, I think.
It is.
That's gone in there.
Wouldn't it be funny if the molecular layer between cream and jam is actually called the Cornwall divide?
Yes, it is.
Isn't that cream cheese? Like a layer of cream cheese in between or something? Ooh, that's not
Cream
nice,
cheese?
I like jam and cheese. It's nice.
Yes, strawberry jam and cheddar cheese. No bread, no
it's
nothing
lovely.
else. Just
I'm surrounded by Philistines.
It's a lovely snack.
But when
I bet
that's
you
all
put
you've got
pineapple
left
on
in your cup,
pizza as well, don't you?
What's that?
So I bet you put pineapple on pizza as well, don't you?
No, I don't make pizzas.
yeah, Gary, it's when you've got
Because
nothing left in your
pastry.
compo, because you wouldn't know that, would you?
Oh, no, you see, no. You see, yeah. No, it's normally if the kitchen's
Yeah,
closed.
we didn't have cream teas.
Jam and cheese, even
You
compo
didn't get many
cheese.
tea. You didn't many. Yeah, you didn't get many cream teas in ration packs.
Never used to, but you do now,
Yeah.
I think.
The Air Force did.
Air Force did, yeah.
Yeah.
We got
Yeah, of
tins of
course they did.
caviar.
Lobster.
Was it 20?
Right.
RF 24 ration pack just a self-serve buffet that was put out in the morning?
Lobster thermidor.
Doesn't.
Tim says, I'm with Paul. He wrote it much better. Haha. Jim says, Timmy, sorry, sir, you see the garage, you don't saw the garage. It depends if you're speaking in past context. Gary says, John, the Mirage 111E at Bankstown Airport is now at Scone. NSW, not safe for work, run Wollongong past the panel.
Say
There you go.
Wollongong again, please.
Wollongong.
Yeah, close enough.
That's how it's spelled.
So let me just
It sounded
clarify
funny
this.
if you pronounced it as a Welsh.
Let me just clarify this. The Australians are telling us how to pronounce the English language.
The
When
English
they've got
language.
places like Wollongong,
Yeah.
I've never.
When they
It's
couldn't,
funny. I've
even,
never
when they
heard
couldn't even
anyone
understand
call
the
it.
English law, let alone English language.
And they can go to Telford and not spot a bar. I mean, come on.
Yeah. Even when it sells Foster's.
Goose Island Midway it was serving, which I believe is a Chicago brew.
I know.
Oh,
I know. I figured out why John didn't spot the bar at Telford.
yeah, go on.
It's too busy idolising Gary.
Oh,
It didn't
no,
have box
I just
wine on the
couldn't-
counter.
Fox wine.
He was confused by the look of the bottles.
I have to come to John's defence here. I have seen John partake of the grape from the bottle.
Yeah, no glass, straight from the bottle.
Straight from the bottle.
It's difficult decanting it from the cask into the bottle to maintain that illusion, though. So
I just want one of those glasses with the hollow stem that you stick in the top of the bottle.
Yeah.
yeah,
Duke says, Gary, I say bath and not bath. I can also have a scone in a bath, but not with bath salts. There you go.
Yeah.
Okay.
so here we go. This is a
Skiffin
book
says,
on
sorry,
Walter
but
Billy
there is a
Griffin.
shop in Reading that does the most amazing.
Very quick. This is a book on the
Yes.
life and work of Walter Billy Griffin and Marion Marnie Griffin. So they're both from Chicago. They designed the Australian National Capital, Canberra, the layout of it and everything else. And this is I was wrong. It's not in Chicago, but the Ricker dwelling in Iowa. And that's her drawing of the world's first carport. So there you go. But aren't they just wonderful?
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, Marion is just a wonderful artist. They also designed Griffiths in New South Wales.
I can't get that name of this.
There you go. My dad used to live in Reading when he was when he was in his late teens. He works in the forest,
Savanac.
putting in
That's down that way.
all the paths and things.
Oh, that's Hungerford.
That's when they had the massacre, wasn't it? Hungerford.
Yes. Yeah.
It changed British gun laws forever.
Yeah.
Until then, you could buy an AK-47, no problem.
Not anymore.
No, sir.
No, sir.
You also can't buy pistol. Well, you can get a pistol, but it has to have a bar on the back. On the grip. Julie says, Paul, it's not garage, it's garage. It's shed. Laugh out loud. There we go.
Bugger.
Robert says, how do you think I had to live with a Cornish mother and a Devonshire father?
I bet
without having afternoon tea.
I was going to say, afternoon tea would have been an experience, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
When they were having afternoon tea and they were arguing, did you just sit there looking at them with 2 houses scone in your hand, just go, cheese, and then start eating it? Oh, sorry, models, I'll do it. Find it.
I am a bit confused.
All right, I got it. You keep modeling.
Modeling.
Julie says, I think the pronunciation of garage is to an extent regional. I'm contrary and use both garage and garage. That's because you're a heathen, Julian. You're a heathen. Aaronville says people outside Norfolk pronounce Wymondon as Wymondon. In Norfolk, it's pronounced Wyndham. It's spelled. Yeah, there we go. It's Old English. Yeah. Gary says Yeovilton, Yeovil, Somerset. Scrumpy country. Who are?
Yeah.
Who are? Isn't that home of the helicopter museum as well or something?
The
Air
Yeovilton Air Museum.
Yeah, it's just down the road from Yeovilton, isn't it? The helicopter heritage or whatever it's called. Went there summer before, what's it summer before last?
Duke says I don't pronounce it pasty. Duke says I don't pronounce it pasties. I call them pasties. I've heard them called pasties or pasties, but they can be called pasties.
Pasties is something completely different.
Julie says, with regards to pasties, pasties, God, you got me doing it now. They're one of the things with regional protection. You can only call the Cornish pasties if they're actually made in Cornwall.
Oh well, tell that to the Australians, where we don't follow your rules.
Much like the Melton Mowbray pork pie.
Yeah.
There you go.
The Australia is kind of like Edison. They look at something and go, "That's a good idea. I'll rebrand it and use it for myself."
Yeah. Sure.
That's why most of their towns have the name same as England.
Not all of them.
Yeah, that's the reason. Yeah.
Oh, where is Wollongong?
So this guy involves it, he says.
That's looking good, Tiff.
So the gong
next
is
to the Willie Bell.
Yeah, no, it's what, half an hour south of Sydney.
Yeah, but we don't have one in UK, you see. So
if you pronounce it
Bristol,
if you pronounce it as in it's spelled as in the Welsh alphabet, it sounds like Klingon.
Yeah, right.
Most Welsh sounds like Klingon to me anyway.
Well, she's Klingon.
Steve says jam first. Boom.
Now,
and he says fruitcake and cheese. Ooh.
Interesting. Totally scale models brought that up. A couple of years ago, we were at a hotel with our friends, and the hotel was doing, as part of the desserts, fruitcake with cheese on it. And I'd never heard of this in 15 million years that I've been on this planet. I'd never heard of fruitcake with cheese on it. And so I went into the normal pineapple and pizza tirade, about messing around with food.
Yeah.
And then I tried some of this fruitcake with cheese on it, and it does go very well.
Yeah.
Very well.
Okay, so just quick one. This is Australia. So if you zoom in, you've got Sydney there. Most people know where Sydney is.
Yeah.
So you've got Newcastle, and Sydney, and then Wollongong. Or NSW in that order from top to bottom, which same as New South Wales.
Not safe for work.
Not safe for work. There you go.
Oh, and so if I zoom in on the gong, Wollongong, a little bit south of that is Albion Park.
At all.
Yeah, Albion Park there, and that's Haas. Yeah, that museum there. In fact, you could see there's a couple of aircraft around it.
Several.
Yeah, so
is that a Canberra out the back there?
That one?
No. Scroll the back of the building up a bit more. Up a bit more. No, the other way. Down then. Right, now zoom in.
Got like the bloody golden shot here.
That's a Canberra. Just
shoot.
That is a Canberra.
God, bloody, and a DC-3.
Yeah. Couple of DC-3.
Oh, several DC-3.
Yeah. There's a Mackie. Fantacan. Well, you wouldn't know what they are. I was on the crew that helped drop that Ryan off to them. That's I think.
Is that?
Not even sure what that is. Not even sure what that is.
Next
It's
to
an
it,
handset one.
like a DC8.
Yeah.
Next to it, is that a the other way? That's a
Lockheed Neptune.
Neptune, yeah. One of those at Cosford.
Yeah, so that's
Oh, there you go.
HARS. It's a Historical Aircraft Restoration Society.
Fine work they do.
They really do. They're amazing.
Right. I want to chat.
Okay.
Steve says fruitcake and cheese. Skipping says strawberry jam and cheese. Yes, lovely.
No, I don't get that at all. Sorry.
He says, damn Mal, that's lowered my thoughts. That's because you haven't tried it.
I'm not a big lover of strawberry jam. It's like people that have jam sandwiches. I can't eat jam sandwiches. It doesn't go.
Now I really want some jam on toast.
No. Yeah. The only thing you put on toast is butter.
Mm-mm.
Or beans.
Marmalade, surely, on toast. Goodness.
No,
yes.
Just butter,
Or
beans, or beans and a fried egg.
And Worcester sauce.
At a push.
You have a very narrow. You have a very closed mind when it comes to food, don't you, Gary?
Some would say that.
I bet you one of these people that goes abroad and insists that every restaurant sells English food.
No, in fact, I'm the total opposite abroad. I avoid anywhere that sells English food because I believe when you go abroad, you should indulge yourself in the local cuisine and customs of that particular part of the world.
Here. Well spoken, Bruce.
Hell yeah.
Which is why, for example, when we lived in Cyprus, you would never see us eating on the strip or anywhere like that. We would always be up in the hills.
All right, so I could read these for a bit, Mikey, if you like.
If you want.
Well, are you happy to?
It's entirely up to you, buddy. Yeah. The only reason I stopped is because people were talking.
Okay.
You seem to have this lag still.
Skipping says, damn Mal, that slowed my thoughts. You. Yeah.
What?
Load my thoughts of you way below the standard. I can't remember.
Not sure what I've done.
Drew says, who's Phyllis Stein, Gary? Cousin of Angela File. Go on then, John. You read them out. I'll change them.
Yeah, sure. Okay. Yep. Yep. Cousin of Angela File. James says, but bacon egg in a hot cross bun is so lush.
Ugh.
Aaron Bill says, I used to eat cheese scones with clotted cream and not butter. So much nicer. Actually, that does sound nice.
No.
There's currently two young lads, right, going around the street, up and down the street, on this scooter that sounds like it's about 2cc. L plates on, and neither of them have got helmets on, but they're just going up and down the road on it. It makes John sound like a Harley Davidson.
Yeah.
Oh, now they're riding on the path.
Any more comments?
Fucking idiots. Yes, loads.
Paul Marley says, funny how you folk, it's a Dassault Mirage and not a Mirage. A Mirage, not a Mirage. Yeah. I was thinking that before. You said another
Mirage. Not a Mirage, it's a Mirage.
Mirage. Oh, yeah.
It's not
James says,
Dassault,
John
it's
has no
Dassault.
class. Harsh. Harsh but fair.
It's a Dassault Mirage.
Mate, I'm RAF Regiment. It's a Target.
Yeah.
Timmy says the English speak the worst English I've heard. Hard truths in it, bruv. Ha ha ha.
Yeah, but we can because it's ours.
Hmm. And Gary says, Wagga Wagga, Mr. Morris.
Wagga wagga. Wagga wagga.
And Jim, the previous reference to see and saw was a nod to the Three Stooges exchange of dialogue between Moe and Curly. Okay.
It's all gone very wrong.
Julian says, Tim, regional accents. Some of us do pronounce TH as a th and not a th. Yeah.
Yeah, most people outside central London pronounce it properly. It's just certain estates in London, I think.
There's a town called Walla Walla in Washington State. Say that 5 times fast. Walla Walla, Washington.
Walla Walla Bing Bang.
Gary says strawberry jam and cheese.
No, you're all.
I was a bit potty.
You don't know how wrong you people are.
Yeah, well, to each their own.
So that must go on there. Right,
Julian says, Robert, I'm guessing you ducked a lot and avoided scones.
He made took the sensible option.
Maybe. Robert says, I used to cheat and claim to be lactose intolerant. Side effects, black coffee. Black coffee, yes.
So someone who lives with someone who's lactose intolerant, it's a pain in the ass when you go have something to eat.
Yeah, the better-looking Marley has a partner who's lactose intolerant. Or as he says, a lactard.
Lactard.
Duke Wellington says, I call them paristies anyway.
Paristies.
It is a simple concept.
She's a good Sheila Bruce and it all stuck up. Robert says, I would have added Caerphilly cheese, but I believe most of it comes from France now.
Bastard.
Oh, not even sure. Incidentally, Caerphilly in America is called Philadelphia cream cheese. They stole that one, didn't they?
Fair play to them.
They have the Philly cheesesteak as well. I'm going there next year. I'm looking forward to a Philly cheesesteak.
Well, that would be all right because I am a bit impartial to Philly. Sweet chili Philly. It's really nice.
I'm sure I met her once.
You did. Yes.
Jim's a solver.
Yeah, she works with now who's that chick that warms up the clubhouse?
Candy.
Candy.
She works with Candy.
Julian says also comes from having Welsh, Northern English, and Scottish grandparents. And my pronunciation is all over the shoop, shup, stua. Fuck that. Very good. Duke says, Mikey, you can't tell the Australians to speak English when talking about an Aboriginal named town.
That is a fair point. That is a fair point because what I was forgetting was these are probably traditional names.
Yeah. As well, Spike Milligan pointed out, why is, because you could shorten Wagga, so Wagga Wagga to Wagga, but you can't shorten Woy Woy to Woy. So, why is Wagga Wagga Wagga, but Woy Woy isn't Woy? Totally Scale Models is in. He says it's a northern thing, fruit cake and cheese. Must be.
That is Wagga Wagga Wagga.
That's a Chinook.
Very good.
Bloody
John
Southerners.
says, LOL Robert.
Yeah, that was funny.
If you zoom in on your Wollongongs, it brings tears to your eyes. Oh,
That's, of course, if you have to zoom in.
it's
can
yeah,
zoom
it's
in.
funny. So Wollongong, double L. Yeah. So it looks like wool, but most people say wool because we got Wollongabba as well. We got some beautiful sounding names around the place. Toad Skull Models Australians. What on earth do we need New South Wales ones enough? Aren't New South Wales what on earth do we need a New South Wales ones enough?
Yeah.
It's already got a South Wales.
Steve,
Yeah, no.
Steve, it's so we can spread out the heathens. Otherwise, we get too many heathens in one place.
Yeah. It's funny because there's coal where I am, but there's not much about New South Wales that's remotely South Welsh. Arundel used to live outside RAF West Raynham,
Raynham.
back in
Raynham.
Raynham.
Okay.
All the Air Force ganged up on the Australian Air Force.
Yeah.
Speak English,
Norfolk back in 1972 to 1979. They flew Canberras and Lightnings then. The Queen used to land there when she was flying Lightnings. Or was she? Oh, no. When she was going to Sandringham.
Yeah.
Sandringham, or did you say Sandringham?
Sandringham.
All right. We'd say Sandringham because, we're uncouth.
West Raynham was also, when I was around, was the Tankers 57 Squadron were based there. And also 25 Squadron with the Bloodhound missiles.
I was going to say, there were Bloodhound missiles at West Raynham as well, weren't they?
Yeah.
All pointing in one certain direction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wales.
Yeah.
Julian says, oi, TBG, they need a new South Wales, obviously, because the original is full of fabulous people already. And if you believe that, I have a nice bridge to sell you. They're totally fabulous. Robert says, Julian, didn't they want a new one because the old one got wrinkly? Yeah, fair enough. We could all do with a new one.
Speak for yourself.
And Julian says, OTOH. They need a new set. Sorry?
On the other hand.
On the other hand, okay. They need a New South Wales because the original is chock full of heathens.
Yes.
Yes. Totally agree.
Robert, Wales is not hilly. It's perfectly flat with a lot of valleys.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that too, Robert says, Julian.
Yeah, in Wales, we don't have a coastline. We have just half a valley. It goes all the way around.
Right. Gary says 3 Neptunes, 1 DC-4, 1 Connie, 1 Catalina, etc. He's listing aircraft that are at Haas.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, an F-111. Yeah, it's Julian says it's a Mirage because it's French, like the Renault is pronounced Alpine. But the British racing company, the same spelling is pronounced Alpine. Yeah.
See, I'm going to say it's a Mirage because it's French, like Renault. It's pronounced Alpine, but the British racing company, same name spelling, is pronounced Alpine. Okay.
Right.
Put that right.
Tim says, I know, but you'll come after our stupid place names and how to pronounce them. I'm obliged to fire back.
Cool.
Yeah, but the problem is, Tim, nobody can understand you because you don't speak English.
Shots fired.
Yeah. Another international incident occurred on 3 Vector.
David, he's having problems now. Can't stop laughing.
You know, I was reading something the other day about early French jet aircraft and research aircraft. So it's very, very fascinating. But what I didn't know until I'd read that was Marcel Dassault of the Dassault Bureau. Before the war, he was Marcel Bloch, who designed all sorts of things under the name Bloch before the war. And Dassault was the name he used whilst in the French resistance. So I thought, that's pretty cool. What a great guy.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Good designer before the war.
Yeah, I believe his brother was a general in the resistance, in the French army there, and he was called Dassault.
Yeah.
So he modelled himself after that. But yeah, I had no idea either. I had no clue that Block Aviation became Dassault.
Yeah.
But yeah, interesting. Jim says, all this talk of South Wales has influenced me to make South Wales my first destination when I visit the UK.
Well, best of luck, because does anyone fly into Cardiff from Chicago?
Yeah.
I think your first destination is going to be West London, mate. Heathrow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those flights are only one way.
Then on to the M4, and then you're into the dreamland.
Yeah.
Or Manchester.
Or Manchester, yeah. If you have to.
I know where I'd rather land in. Manchester or London? Yeah, it'd be south of Manchester every time.
Yes. Or you got Liverpool John Lennon as well.
Yeah. Flown into there once or twice in a light aircraft. It's very funny.
Yeah, where you walk out to your aircraft and find it up on bricks. We'll be delayed momentarily before our departure because someone's nicked the wheels.
John, I thought you were doing the comments.
Well, sorry.
Stop slacking.
I thought we were saying goodbye because it's the hour. Let me keep going then. Julian says, if you have to zoom in, not my microscope works fine, Gary. Mind you, holding it in the one hand, that works. Holding in the one hand that works presents a problem. Julian says, oh, Mikey, read the half valley. Joe says, can't we all just get along? No. No, we cannot. Duke says, yes, Julian, kilometer is French. Kilometer is American translation. Well, it's like, I guess, altimeter and altimeter.
We haven't even got to the aluminum debacle yet.
No.
Yeah.
That we'll save for another day.
Or sulfur with a PH or an F.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or call with a U or a not.
Gary says, give it a few hours and you can watch this podcast again with Korean subtitles. Ooh. Aren't you all lucky?
Or lieutenant or lieutenant.
No.
Lieutenant. Julian at Gary. Yes, indeed. Very interesting story of one Marcel Bloch.
Yeah. Very interesting man.
Julian says, Timbo, the English have such sensible names like Chumley. Oh, yeah. Well, there you go. Pronounced Chumley. And, a Featherstone Hall pronounced Fanshawe.
Well, it depends on what part of the family. And some of them call it Fanshawe and some of them call it Feston.
Feston.
Yeah.
There's a place not far from us, and it's spelled Lache. And most people pronounce it Lach. But apparently the people that have the bigger houses around there, they don't like the sound of Lach because they think it sounds common, so they call it Lache.
See, a lot of people, nearly 100% of people get Telford wrong because it's actually pronounced shithole.
See, in Wales, it's even more difficult because you have the English name and the Welsh names, the same places.
Jim says it's a man's life in South Wales.
Oh, dear.
Yeah. There we go. Right. That's the 2 hour mark.
We scraped our way through another 2 hours.
Got some work done.
Kay's just dancing by the door saying, I get my husband back now.
So the decals look like they're working well, Tiff.
Gary's done half a tank.
Well, I haven't really because I'm going to go and get some lunch in a minute. Oh, that's looking good, Tiff.
Yeah.
Jim says spelling is one thing, pronunciation is very regional. So just about anything goes regarding word pronunciation. And Robert says, even Hlan PG. No, they don't put the English version on that. What they do is call it Clan Via PG instead of the full name. There we go.
There we are.
Here we are.
Another 2 hours of your life
Yeah.
you'll never get.
Sorry
back.
about all the lagging. It's
Gary, that's the way time works, mate.
I need to get a better computer.
Oh,
You never get it back. No matter what, you
Yeah.
never get it back. That's the way time happens.
oh,
Yeah, sorry about that.
oh, bugger.
That's why your hair's going grayer, not darker.
Silver highlights, if you don't mind.
Silver
Yeah.
Yeah, they stop being highlights when they start being the dominant colour, mate.
See, what I find annoying is like it's like somebody. It's like I put on a balaclava and just had that much showing, and then somebody sprayed that bit like black, but the rest of it is just white. It's annoying.
Yeah, black brows and white everything else.
Yeah.
Anyway, me, Modders, and John will be back tomorrow with the motorbike build. John will be building whatever he's building, but me and Modders will be building the motorbikes. That's at
I
12
should
o'clock.
be back on Thursday.
Thursday, we got the big. Yes. Because you're what are you playing with, Gary?
A train.
What are you playing with, Gary? What are you playing with?
A locomotive.
What's the name of what you're playing with on Thursday?
The Revel, a big boy, a
Playing
locomotive.
with his big.
More importantly, on Friday, I will be
Yeah.
building the Sea Fury.
And for those that are paying attention to the channel list as well, we've got a Corporals Club live on Wednesday.
Yes, we have. Sorry, I forgot about that. Yes, Wednesday I'll be
Yeah.
around. What time's that?
So
12 o'clock.
for all those with the corporal level, for those with the corporal level of channel membership, be here Wednesday 12 o'clock as well, if you want. You don't have to be; it's not compulsory. Yeah, and obviously we got Friday as well before Waitrose goes off on holiday.
I'll be here next Monday, hopefully. I might be here next Monday.
Yeah.
It's the day before we go away, so I
Oh,
might be on duty, but I'll definitely be here on Friday.
He'll be packing his budgie smugglers and his mankini.
I don't know
Yeah.
what the servants are taking. I'm wearing proper beachwear, like a chef.
It's stripy, all in one type.
Yeah, with a tight, knotted hanky.
He's going to be the only person to get kicked off a cruise ship.
Yeah, but bearing in
He's going to be
mind
the only
we're actually
person
on
to
a
get kicked
river
off a cruise
cruise,
ship
we're
for
not
failing to meet the
making
dress
or
code.
anything. You know, if I'm on a river cruise, I'm wearing a full admiral's rig.
The hat, the
If I'm not
chips.
He's going to stand at the front of the ship.
there is
like
going
that.
to be trouble by 8 bells, I tell you.
Nice.
There'll be keel hauling going on.
Plank walking.
I can just picture you stood at the front of the ship. I could just imagine you stood at the front of the ship wearing an Napoleonic admiral's uniform or something.
Well, I've got the sword
Like
for
Nelson.
it, so I can draw my sabre. Yeah, chaps, full ahead, ramming speed. Get the blighter out of the way.
But it all went wrong when he
There we
said,
go.
rig for silent running, dive, dive, dive.
Yeah. Yes, on a cruise ship, that would be unfortunate, wouldn't it?
And he forgot.
Oh, dear.
Well, it'd be called Costa Concordia then, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Ooh, still a bit too soon.
There you go. Right.
Cool.
You're all but a lot.
So that's it.
We're off.
We're
And we'll
off.
see you tomorrow, hopefully. Bye, everyone.
Wednesday.
Bye.
We're off.
Bye.
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 We're really going. We really are. We're going.